people. I have great news. I got a job. I'm so excited. Well, I'm not super excited, but this is me being excited. I'm not a jump up and down and scream and shout kind of person, really, but I've been trying really hard to get a job. Like, really, really hard. And, there's so many part-time jobs right now, and employers kind of prefer to hire part-time because then they don't have to pay benefits. And, I can't take a part-time job right now. And so it's been hard to find a full-time job. But today I had an interview, and I am now a Lowe's merchandising specialist. So I will be starting my new job next week sometime. I like it because you have to work as a team, but you don't have too many interactions with customers. And I think it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a lot of work. It's a lot of moving and a lot of unpacking and in all of the displays and setting things up. I think it'll be good, and it'll pay the bills, which is really important. So, yay to that. It's been a good day. Well, I've been busy. The other day, I took the frame of the bed in Wanda, the sofa bed, apart. There's some water damage there, and I've removed the water tank. I drained and removed the water tank, and the hoses for the water fill. I'm working on removing the furnace. I had a little hiccup. I didn't realize that there was something attached to the side of the bed frame when I was unscrewing it, and I just gave it a yank. And under this black cover was the engine control module, which is essentially the computer for the engine. I assumed it was just part of the interior electrical and wasn't really worried about it. I asked some people, and they told me that essentially the van won't work without this plugged in. So luckily I didn't damage it when I pulled it out, and I just plugged it back in and everything's fine. So next I'm going to be taking this panel out along the window. I'm going to remove the panel, and I'm going to remove the insulation because of this water damage down here and up here, and get to working on that. Once it's all pulled out and cleaned up, I'm going to seal the window. Well, I'm actually going to pull out the window and clean it up, put new tracks in, and seal it up, and then start putting it back together. That's the game plan. Don't worry, people that know me. I'm not demoing the entire inside of Wanda. I have self-control. If you really know me, you may doubt that, but I do have self-control. I will not completely demo Wanda right now. What happens in the future, happens in the future. But right now, she's just getting upgrades. I know you may not believe me, but that's the truth. After I remove the furnace, I need to, all of the windows leak and I need to reseal them. When the window on this side, back here, when that window gets resealed, or I'm ready to reseal that window, I also need to replace the paneling that's behind it. There's water damage there, and I'm assuming mold and water damage to the insulation behind it. So that's going to be a fix as well. I'm hoping to keep this remodel in the $500 range. I think that's a reasonable price. It's nothing really big that I've seen so far. These upgrades that I want to do and changes will help me, especially with giving me more storage. So I think that, yeah, just a small upgrade, some repairs. My biggest workload, I think, is going to be sealing all these windows. Every single one of the windows in this van and doors in this van leak. All of the seals are gone, totally shot. Also, the seal on the doghouse for the engine is completely shot. So I have a lot of rubber and a lot of sealant to repair and clean. I suspect it's an 87, so it's time for those repairs. But also, I suspect Wanda spent a good chunk of time in the sun, maybe out west somewhere where it was hot. Even the windshield gasket has shrank and is coming apart. So that is also another repair, which I have no idea how you do that, and may leave that to a professional. We'll see. We'll see what I find out. Hey people, so I'm just working on Wanda today. I am trying to get the screws out of this window, out of the frame, and making progress on getting it resealed. So I got all the parts in, the butyl tape, the sealant, and the track that you need to go under the glass so it slides. It's a felted track. I got all of those parts in. Now I just need to take it apart and take the old paneling out, remove the water damage, and the insulation. That'll need to be replaced. That on the paneling that's around down here. So once that's finished, I can take the window itself out and clean it up. All of the handles are broken, so they'll need to be re-glued on and resealed and reinstalled. That's what I'm working on. So taking a quick first peek behind this frame, this window frame, you can see the water damage to the plywood back there, and it goes right down to the floor. Well, there's the window frame. It was just held in by screws. And also on this left side, there is more water damage there. When I start one of these projects, I always find more damage than I could have expected. And as time goes on, I just expect the worst. Because when I picked up Wanda, I couldn't see any of this damage. It appeared, besides the front windows over the cab, that there wasn't any water damage. So it's always a surprise, a not welcome surprise, but I'm dealing with it. I'm going to try to get this panel out around the window and pull out the insulation. Alright, I removed that blue edge around the door. Over here, you can see it. I took it off so that I could access this panel back here and start prying that apart. But I need to get the seat belt socket, which I think is 3/4 inch, so I can disconnect the shoulder harness of the seat belt. That way I can pull this panel away from the wall. So we just pull these covers off like that, and there's a screw, a snap and a screw, and they just come out. And I just took the screws out of this one and pulling that down. Well, I got this first piece of the paneling off, and underneath it is a layer of Luan, which is like 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch thin plywood. And you can see all the water damage there. It's pretty bad. So I'm going to try to get this piece off now. It's getting hot in here. Well, that's one way to do it. Wasn't much left of that. This is what happens when I get frustrated and break stuff. Demo is dangerous. Wear safety equipment. Well, I got this side completely cleaned out. And over here, I need to get another tool. I need a different saw to be able to cut this, because I don't want to take this cabinet all apart. I'm just going to cut this Luan down like I did with the paneling. And actually I did the paneling with the box cutter. I broke my box cutter, so when I get a new blade, I may just use the box cutter. That'll work. That's all all the water damage. On the other side, that literally crumbled in my hand when I pulled it out of here. So, needs lots of work. You can see outside in this corner of the window, which means that the window has slid down, and so that's one of the places the water was pouring in. You know, I think it was a little excessive that we needed this many staples in this paneling. Just a little bit excessive. I'll be pulling these out for the next 12 weeks. I'll let you know when I'm done. Okay, making progress here. So, I got this whole wall cleaned up. And now I am taking out some extra staples, just random staples. I disconnected the water inlet hoses. Now I am working on taking out the furnace. Once the furnace is out, I'm going to remove this battery metal box. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to reinstall it. I'll be taking it out and then putting the new subfloor in because this is all destroyed. Once the new subfloor is in, then I'll put this back in. It'll be a great storage space. We had a really bad rainstorm last week, and unfortunately this fan and the bathroom vent that's up here leak. I pulled the cover off of this one already. I actually think I'm going to take this one out and just put a patch over the roof because it's not needed anymore. And this one, I don't know. I'm debating whether or not to spend the money and get a new fantastic fan. This one has some damage on it and it's cracked and I'm not even sure it works. So, is it worth taking out peeling? Should I just, since I'm taking it out, should I just replace it with a new one? I'm kind of thinking yes. I don't really have the money right now. Well, I do, but I don't really want to spend the money right now. But if I'm going to do the job, I feel like I should just do it right and replace it. Oh, Wanda. I'm not sure what's up with this van. I'm not sure. So, there's been some white smoke coming out of the tailpipe, and, I know a lot of white smoke pretty much means that it's a head gasket, but our mechanic friend, that lives across the road, checked it out, looked at the radiator. We talked about all the signs of a problem with the head gasket, and it doesn't appear to be that's what it is. It is throwing up a check engine light occasionally, and a couple times it stalled on me. But I'm not sure what it is. So he will order a new fuel filter, and hopefully sometime this week, he's going to take it out for a drive and see if we can figure out what exactly is going on. It puffs out like a big cloud of white smoke every once in a while, usually right after I start it up. Then it's fine. I don't see it again for, until like the next day or something. So I don't really know what it is. I'm hoping it's nothing big. It seems to be running fine, except for the couple times it stalled, which it kind of felt like maybe it wasn't getting enough fuel. So which kind of leads to me to wonder if the fuel filter is clogged, since the fuel that was in here before was really, really bad, and they had to do a flush on it. Part of me wonders if there's still garbage up in the fuel tank, and it's coming through the system. I don't know. But of course, just how things go in my life, there's always something. I always have a vehicle that needs something. There's always some kind of crazy event happening. So, my life would be super boring, and I would be very concerned if everything was fine. I don't operate that way. So, it's Wanda's turn. It's Wanda's turn to give me a hard time and cause me grief. So, there it is. So, there's water damage to the floor. That's going to come out. There was water damage on the bed frame, and I've taken that out. It's a super simple rebuild, just some plywood. I saved the pieces for a template to make it even easier to put it back together. I'm going to replace the subfloor. I will replace the bed frame. I decided I'm not going to put the furnace back in. That little ceramic electric heater I use heats me right out of this thing. It works perfectly. And I really could use the extra space underneath the bed. So I'm going to just keep with that, a little electric space heater, and I'm not going to use a furnace anymore. I'm going to revamp the water system. My plan is to use a design that a lot of Sprinter vans use, with a freshwater potable container and a gray tank underneath the sink. On the back side of that sink, where the folding doors come open, the one on the left, you can see the back side of the sink, and I will install a freshwater fill and a gray water drain there, and that will be my water system. I am also making the choice, which is very controversial, and I'm sure someone who probably personally knows me will have words with me about it, but I'm going to remove the original toilet in Wanda. I have zero desire to pump black water. I've had 2 bad experiences with black water. I think it's horribly disgusting. I am of team shit in a bucket, and I'm not doing it. Liquid poo is not my thing, and so I'll be removing the original toilet and the plumbing that goes with that to build myself a compost toilet. I much, much prefer changing out a bag, using cedar shavings, and dealing with a urine diverter than ever dealing with black water. So, and that's my personal preference, and honestly, upgrades to a hand-built compost toilet are much less expensive than dealing with replacing a traditional RV toilet. So, I I think it's just how it works. It's definitely a personal preference. Everybody feels differently about it, and you do you. You do what works for you. So that's what I'm gonna do. It'll also free up a little extra space in the back of the van, and I'm looking forward to having that, because you can never have enough storage space in a vehicle this small. So damn, that's kind of the Wanda update. I hope to this next coming week before I start my job, I really would like to get a good chunk of projects done, as much as possible, make good use of my time, so that when I start my job, I can just plug away little bits in the couple of hours I have free every day. So, yeah, there's your Wanda update, and I'll talk to you all soon.